Well, today we are diving into a topic that might surprise you: Medicaid estate recovery. Now, many people don't realize that Medicaid can recover costs from your estate after you pass away, and it can have a significant impact on your family's financial future. Well, joining me today to help us understand Medicaid estate recovery and your options is the one and only attorney, Vincent J. Russo, for another segment of In the Legal Know. Thank you for being here for this. I've never even heard of this.
Yes, it's a real shocker for families who can be devastated to find out that after their loved one goes on Medicaid, let's say in a nursing home or for home care, long-term care services, that when they pass away, there could be a recovery and any assets that that individual has could be lost, in particular, the home.
Oh boy. So okay, so can we start with the basics?
Yes.
So what exactly is Medicaid estate recovery and why should we care? And you just kind of said, wow, they could go after your home.
That's right. So Medicaid estate recovery is a situation where Medicaid says, look, we're going to allow you to get benefits, long-term care benefits. But when you pass away, we can make a claim to be reimbursed for the cost of all the services we provided to you. And that claim is typically against your probate estate. So if you owned a home and you were living in it, it's exempt to get on Medicaid, but it's not exempt if you pass away from an estate recovery. So a home subject to probate could be subject to that claim. There are a group of other states that say we've even expanded estate recovery to cover other types of ownership. And so the laws vary state by state. This is very complex. So I'll talk about New York mostly today, but it could really vary depending on the state you reside in.
All right, so here's my other question. Who is subject to Medicaid estate recovery, and is it everybody who receives Medicaid benefits?
Okay, so as a general rule, it is not everybody. People who are age 55 or older who receive services, those are the services that could be subject to estate recovery, age 55 or older. So if someone was under age 55, received Medicaid services, there's no recovery for those services. But once they reach 55, anything after that is subject to recovery. We got a couple exceptions. If an individual sets up what's called a first-party special needs trust, they're disabled, under age 65, they set up a trust, they put their assets in it, go on Medicaid, then the recovery is for all services regardless of age. And recovery can be delayed in certain situations depending on who's living in the home when you pass away. Why we live in this world of complexity is insane, that we're going to treat people in different ways depending on where you live, depending on the Medicaid rules, depending on what you own.
Wow, it gets confusing, so we're glad that you're here. Is my next question. When and how does Medicaid recover from an estate? Okay,
so general rule, you pass away, there's going to be an estate proceeding. Let's say you pass away and you own a home. Let's say it's Mary, and she owns a home and it's worth $300,000. And she goes on Medicaid, long-term care services, and receives over $300,000 of services. When she passes away, that home is subject to probate, an estate proceeding. Medicaid makes a claim. The house has a lien put on it. It's sold, and they take the $300,000. Family gets nothing.
Wow. So because you just talked about the home, are there other assets that they can recover?
Yes. And so the typical situation would be the home, and also the individual on Medicaid may have a bank account, and it could have $20,000 or $30,000 in New York, and you could still be on Medicaid. And when you pass away, they can make a claim against that bank account. So one of the things I would suggest as a tip is always have a pay-on-death provision. If you own a bank account on Medicaid in New York, it avoids probate, avoids the recovery.
Are there other ways that someone can avoid Medicaid estate recovery?
Yes, there are a number of ways. And so first we start with advanced planning. The Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. You own your home, you need Medicaid services, transfer the home to a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. If you do it 5 years in advance, then that home is totally protected. You can live in it, you can go on Medicaid, and there's no Medicaid estate recovery in New York. Some other states there may be, depending on the state you live in. But there are also other ways of dealing with it, and I think we have a slide here. There are what are called exempt transfers. So if someone owns assets, they can transfer those assets without a Medicaid transfer penalty to a spouse, a minor child, a disabled child, and now that avoids estate recovery. Or if it's a home, it gets even more complicated. So if it's a home, you could transfer your home to a caregiver child. That child living in the house for at least 2 years, the home can be transferred to the child, and that would avoid estate recovery. So all the children take care of your parents, move into their house, and you're able to keep the house. And in my example with Mary, that house would pass to the child, no estate recovery. They get to keep the house. Also, a sibling, brother or sister, who has an equity interest living in the house at least 1 year, you could transfer it to them. So the word here is see an experienced elder law attorney, because the rules are so complex, it's not something you want to try to figure out on your own.
Yeah, you can't do this on your own. You really need to sit down with someone that understands how this works and what the rules are, what could happen, and what you need to do to protect yourself, right?
That's exactly right.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, tell everybody where they can find out more about your firm.
Okay. So we have resources on our website, the easiest way to access it, at vjrussolaw.com. We have planning guides. We have a guide on Medicaid, and the topic we covered today is covered in that guide. Or you can call us at 516-683-1717.
Oh, well, we always appreciate you opening our eyes to these things. Vincent, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.